divine spirit, that which watches over us always, always leading us back to focus, to love, to what's possible, to purpose, to usefulness, to connection, to peace, to grace. I ask that all the names in which you're celebrated, you be with here today and help us consecrate this ceremonial ground, because there are four that have gathered. They have chosen to spend their ceremonial time with us and us with them. And therefore, a miracle is possible. And with you holding the lantern and the light above us, keeping the space clear from shadows and whispers, so that we may focus for the time that we are united fully in what is possible when we're in union and in step with you. So at this moment, I'd like to pray this name and all the names in which you're celebrated by those that are on this call at this moment. So if the community can in totality unmute yourselves and just begin to share, speak out loud any names you're moved to share. If you're moved to share it out loud, you may share it internally if you feel more moved to do that at this time as well. Beautiful. Oh my God, that was beautiful. I'm about to give the topic of today's conversation is 5 years to live. And the question is, on my heart, before I go into my sermon for today, after hearing Andrew speak the words that we created in harmony for the container, as a man of 43-year-olds in a human form that feels like it's weakening, but still yearns for power that it has within its makeup, I realized that I've never found a room where I could be 100% me, 100% love, 100% light, 100% fierce, 100% intense, which Betsy has now reminded that intense means the present tense. That means you're fully here. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're in this moment. To be fully in this moment and want to grasp it and milk it and juice it for every ounce of goodness this breath can fund for us. Did you know that the reason they brought cows to the American lands is because buffaloes will not be caged? You cannot treat a buffalo the way you treat a cow, because a buffalo was born to be wild. And when you take away its wildness, you take away its reason for living. And when you take away its reason for living, it gives you its breath. Willingly, it returns to where it came from, because that's not why it came here. So the courageous heart is a place for me to be wild. And I'm going to be wild in service of you. And so for the first time, this may also be the place where you can be wild, in whichever way that expresses on your heart, because we are all reflections of the divine, a perfect puzzle coming together. So I promise to grow every time I hold this mantle. Every time you offer me your attention, I will stretch myself in your presence, never pretending to be perfect, but bring my imperfect, perfectly whole person at this moment in service of you. In my stretching, I will be in the world's unknown. I'll be in new lands, and in new lands, I cannot conduct myself in a manner that I can promise that I'm not going to make offenses upon another person, especially when we're working with the gentleness of our souls, our spirits, our hearts, the suffering, the pain, the misunderstandings that we're all experiencing on. I'm only promising that I'm going to do my best. But if you meet me on this courageous turf, I promise you I will be open to hear your concerns, find healing in the middle, because there will always be love on my heart. And I believe it is the same for you. So with that, I begin. And I ask, what if you only had 5 years to live? What if you woke up and you realized that this idea of putting it off, making other things more important than the thing that you know needs to get done, what would we begin to do as individuals and communities now? What if we let go of any of the secondary voices in our minds that tell us we cannot do everything we know we were born to do? What if we let go of the idea that we had to do it on our own? What if we let go of the idea that people can't see us falling and recognize that when we are around truthful community, falling is a gift because it shows our humanity. It shows our perseverance when they see us stand again. It gives them purpose when they realize that they might have been part of that stepping stone for us to stand again. If we were courageous to say, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know how to do it. But I know it's meant to be done, and I know I'm a part of it getting done. And then what if we shrunk it to a year and thought, what if I only had 1 year, 365 days, to make sure that my last breath when it found me would be a peaceful one, would be a rejoicing one, be one in which I was sad to leave this earth, but happy to go on to what is waiting for me. That I would know that the world would never be the same, that there'd be just a little more love in it, a little more fierceness in it, a little more connection in it, a little more joy in it, a little more sustainability in it, a little more empowerment in it. And that although our names may not be remembered, the sparks of light in which we were courageous enough to leave into moments in our intense presence in the present moments, and let them reverberate through time. And then what if we only had a week? 7 precious days of breath in our lungs. What would we do? Where would we go? Who would we talk to? What would we say? What would we create? Those are my words for today. I speak them with love, and I feel gratitude for the listening of my community for allowing me to speak them. And I want to close by, when love works, when Love Batista works, he doesn't shoot in the dark at ideas of possibilities. He studies nature. He studies people. I've had the blessing of working with people that are passing. And a constant I found is that when people's clock gets ticked with a finiteness, the shackles that once held them begin to disintegrate rapidly. Their weight upon them, their strength is reduced instantaneously because the noise in their mind shatters and shifts attention. What if we can create that for each other? No matter how many years, days, or breaths are still awarded to us.